Okay, so before I try to attempt another Adam Sandler movie, I really needed a palate cleanser. If you want an actually good movie about a bumbling main character who suffers from chronic butt monkey syndrome, then do I have a movie for you, Napoleon Dynamite. It was released in 2004 and was directed by Jared Hess, who is known for Gentlemen Broncos and that Jack Black movie where he does Spanish wrestling, Nacho Libre, but mostly Napoleon Dynamite. Let me clean my nostalgia blinders because I remembered this film being fucking amazing growing up. I mean, I was in the 4th grade when it came out, and we all know that kids pick the best media to watch. Insert Teen Titans Go. After all this time, this film is pretty good, all things considered. I remembered liking it growing up and thinking it was amazing because it was a film about a loser and had some funny, awkward comedy. And there's like this dance scene at the end that's fun to watch, and it's awesome. Now that I watch it as an adult, I feel like it aged pretty well, and I can empathize with the main character. There's your quick review, and now on to me overanalyzing stuff. What is Napoleon Dynamite about?
Is Grandma there?
No, she's getting her hair done.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Most of the story revolves around our protagonist, Napoleon Dynamite, played by Jon Heder, and his life in a small western high school in Idaho. As the movie progresses, we get to see his average everyday life. The sad, bullied, generally mundane existence that is Napoleon Dynamite. He has a loser older brother Kip, who's jobless at 32, and Uncle Rico, who's a slimy scumbag trapped in his glory years.
Oh, man, I wish I could go back in time. I'd take state. This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
And his only friend Pedro, a quiet, shy guy who wants to run for student council president. God, everyone in this movie looks like they're hard stuck in their mid-20s or mid-30s. And I think that's part of the joke. Oh, and it's got like this really bitchin' funk soundtrack. It's got that late 70s, early 80s vibe, which is where this movie takes place, even though Napoleon's card says he's from like 2005. Do you notice how I'm not really describing much of a plot? There's no impeding force coming to rock the stable foundation of our heroes. No, there's nothing. This is the stable foundation. It's a movie generally about nothing, but tweaked enough to be an absurd comedy. Napoleon is a dork, and we just follow his regular days and see his awkward interaction with characters and his attempts to be cool. The only semblance of a conflict is Pedro aiming to become student council president, and this weird sorta their relationship between Napoleon and this girl that I just can't be fucked to remember her name. And here's the thing, it's still a great movie. While there might not be an amazing plot with many twists and turns, it doesn't need one. It's about seeing interactions between characters and reliving the most awkward years of your lives. High school. You remember bullies?
Oh, God. Gross. Freaking idiot.
Preppy girls with fake smiles, trying to talk to that girl you like and failing miserably because you lack social skills.
I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat? Because you're not. You could be drinking whole if you wanted to.
Your first job that paid you dirt, being pulled into the principal's office for something stupid. Do you remember rejection and thinking that you were so cool when in reality, you have no skills?
You know, like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
This movie explores a bunch of basic themes and elements that you'd find in any coming-of-age film. But unlike those movies that could have an entire 2 hours dedicated to them, this film uses a bunch of mini themes that just come and go so fast, since this is life, this is real. I also came to really like Napoleon. He's a great example of an unlikely hero. Unlike Adam Sandler's Shecky Moskowitz character in my last film review, Napoleon comes off as genuine. The thing about loser protagonists is that we as the audience, we need to like the fucking person. We need to like them. Why do I like Napoleon and not Adam Sandler? Well, I think it's due to a combination of his wire frame, his awkward mannerisms, and that he might legitimately have autism. Whereas Adam Sandler is just playing an unconfident moron who everyone around him is an obscene asshole. Napoleon is just a loser, and people are just regular assholes. And I feel like we can relate to that more. I mean, we all have to deal with regular assholes on a daily basis, or we have a history of dealing with regular assholes. His average everyday life feels relatable because it's stale and dry. And that's why I feel this movie's great. It's simple, honest, and has some really good camera work. I've really grown to like practical shot composition, and there's just some shots in this movie that just feel like any of them would make a really great wallpaper. It's weird. It feels like we're just a casual observer, and it feels genuine. On top of good filmmaking, there's some really meme lord level stuff in this movie. It just has these scenes that are so like awkwardly placed, and it's really about the timing. It's dry humor at its best, and sometimes it gets to be really absurd. They aren't even really jokes by like definition, but just absurd moments, and they don't add anything to the story. They're just awkward moments that give character to the movie. So all in all, what's my final grade for this movie? What's the final exam grade for Napoleon Dynamite? How is this film? Well, I give it a 7 out of 10. It's certainly above average. It has fun moments, it has an amazing soundtrack, the performances felt exaggerated but yet real, and all in all was a fun watch. But I think overall this is one of those films that you have to like let set for like years until you watch, and you're like, oh, that was a pretty good movie. But pretty good isn't perfect. And that's why I give it that above average score of a 7 out of 10. So if you guys like this video, please feel free to subscribe and comment. I do read all of them. And along with this video, I do plan to have a extended thoughts video just to ramble about some points about the film. So yeah, with that being said, have a good day.